Hey folks, Hal Shurtleff here at Camp Constitution, and we are in beautiful Rockport, Maine at the Maine Homeschoolers Homeschoolers of Maine's annual convention at the Samoset Conference Center. And one of the vendors, this is the first time you've been here, I believe, right? The Henry Knox Museum, which is in Thomaston, Maine. And of course, Henry Knox, the famous general, Washington's famous general. So tell us a little bit, Sarah, a little bit about the Knox Museum and why people who watch this should drop everything and visit the museum.
The Knox Museum is a replica of Henry's house, and this is a picture of our Henry.
Are these cutouts for sale? I'd like to get one.
They're not yet, but they might be. But we go through and we tell about the Revolutionary War and Henry's part that he played. He was a major general during the Revolutionary War in charge of all the artillery. And then we also go through the house, which is a replica of his house, showing how he and Lucy lived in the 1790s when they moved to Thomaston, Maine.
And what are the hours of operation?
So we're open Memorial Day weekend through Labor Day. We're open Tuesday through Saturday, and we give tours continuously, so that means when you show up, we'll get you on a tour so you can see the whole house.
Well, tell us some interesting things about this, and his wife was a very fascinating lady too.
She was.
What brought him up here, all the way up here to Maine? And
so the reason that they're in Maine is because of his wife, Lucy. Her parents were loyalists who, when the British evacuated the city of Boston, they went back to England. Lucy was already married to Henry at the time. Her grandfather, General Samuel Waldo, during the French and Indian War, had inherited or been given all this land in what was then Massachusetts, now
And I would imagine Waldoboro is named after him, right?
Waldo County, Waldoboro.
And it's just a short distance from your museum.
Yes. So he had been given all that land, and Lucy ended up inheriting a huge portion of that because her parents and siblings went back to England at the start of the war. So that's what brought him.
A lot of folks don't realize that this was Massachusetts up until 1820. Correct. But you guys had the right idea way back then. Tell us a little bit about the table here. And of course, Henry Knox was noted for his artillery or cannons. And you've got a few biographies of Henry.
Sure. So we have some of the more well-known books on Henry, a couple of kids' ones, teenager type books, and then the go-to biography on Henry by Mark Bowles. Then we just have some documents, Declaration, Constitution, and some toys that Henry's kids probably
Colonial
played with.
Toys,
Colonial
right.
Toys, right.
Now he's also buried in Thomaston, Maine, and you're right on the corner of Route 1 and what's the
131.
I think 131. It goes down to Port Clyde, I think, yes. Right? And is there admission fees?
There is. There's admission fees. If you get a membership, then you could visit the museum as many times as you wanted to. But we do have family rates, senior rates, military discounts.
And it's a great homeschool field trip.
It's great for homeschoolers.
It's a great homeschool field trip, so I'm very glad to see you folks here.
Yeah.
And let me see, what else did I want to ask you? Oh yes, the original house was down in the village.
Yes.
And I think it's a fascinating story. Maybe you want to explain about exactly what happened.
So the original was built in 1795, and Henry passed away, and then his wife Lucy passed away, and some of the kids lived there for a while. And when the last of the Knox children passed away in 1854, the house stood empty until the railway purchased it in 1871. At that point, it was in pretty rough shape, and they tore it down. Mm-hmm. And so there was no Henry Knox home for about 60 years. And it was the Daughters of the American Revolution that started the funding for. God
bless the DAR. They did a lot of good work like that.
Yep.
And they built it during the Depression too, didn't they?
In 1929, it was built.
It's amazing. So what's left of the original Henry Knox house is the carriage house.
Yes.
And that's now the Thomaston Historical Society. So you can get a little taste of. You can actually do a nice little Henry Knox field trip by visiting the cemetery, and then visiting the carriage house, and then of course your great museum. And there's a particular bell on the property of your museum too. Tell us a little bit about that.
So we have a bell, and it used to be in the church that Henry had built for the town of Thomaston, and it was a Paul Revere bell that he had commissioned from Paul Revere himself.
That's amazing. And how can people find out more about your museum website?
So we have a website. It's knoxmuseum.org. They can go in there. It has our list of events for the summer. Also has information on the house and on Henry Knox.
And I highly recommend it. I've been there a number of times, and I've taken people there. And as I told you when I first met you, I'm a member of the Sons of the American Revolution, the Boston chapter, and they have the Henry Knox Color Guard. So I think it'd be cool for them to come up and do some drill and ceremony right at your place. Maybe we can work that out. Well, thank you so much. God bless you. Thanks for being here.